Yo. Yo. I am being charged with harassing communications by the Houston Police Department, the state of Texas, like the city here, by Houston, by the state of Texas, by some rogue individuals in gang in synagogue. They are working together in an organization adversarially, so satanically, against me, Matthew Ray Wilkins, who has the word of IA on me. Yah. And IA is the board that looks over the police as well as now corrupt judging agencies so that a more supreme higher court can deal with the abusive behavior of judges, because we are no longer as much in a place where the states are acquiescent constantly to a higher power. It's more to their authority. So when they abuse that authority, a higher power does hold them in check. But there, at the moment, is no way for me to hold people, these abusive police officers and judges, as well as state officials who are harassing and abusing me, robbing from me, and seeing that I'm robbed and hurt here, tortured in 2019 America. There's no way for me to deal with it. I'm making this video because I've explained what's going on around me a number of times, the abuse that I've been receiving by the courts and police here. And people have said that they don't understand the situation. So I'm going to very clearly explain the situation. A few years ago, as well as I can describe it, a few years ago, I was making music and doing mixes and stuff, and I made a number of really in-depth music mixes and stuff like that. I believe that targeted me for a form of harassment by a group of people who felt it was appropriate to use the art and content that I had put together in these mixes to harass me and attack me in a way which is very personal and inappropriate. And specifically, the mixes that I'm talking about are these mixes. Yo, X1, X2, and X3. It's just one long mix where I basically have been getting out, using art that I'm taking in from other places. I'm getting out this narrative that I see that is heavy on me, that I believe needs to be dealt with, that I believe is biblical. These are my rights to believe these things as an American. However, I feel like some people, and I am able to prove, as well as the people I have asked the NSA and US Cybercom for help, because this is their job to hold corrupt police officers into account. I'm being harassed by these people, and it's because of my rights and my First Amendment rights, my First Amendment rights to freedom of speech and freedom of press. I'm being shadow banned and harassed in a number of ways that are inappropriate, but I believe it's because of partially because of my views and beliefs and how I've created art that I believe could actually affect political change and real life change. And so people decided to attack me in various ways. And the final weighty, covert attack on me is a woman that was created who is not a real woman. Her name is Stephanie Yostin, or Stephanie Justin. This is her account on Twitter, Stephanie GMJ. And on Instagram, it is just Instagram Stephanie Yostin. And she's verified. But when I say she, You can look from this picture, this woman right here, and you can tell from the noses. These aren't all the same women as I'm going through that are being claimed as this one character of Stephanie Yostin. You can very clearly tell from their noses that they are different women, in fact. You can tell from other features, but specifically their noses. I believe there's some sort of either police, like law enforcement operation, some kind of covert operation, that means done in the darkness, where it's like signaled in a way cryptologically, but there's an agreed upon intention, and that intention is very clear at this point, as I've been harassed and abused over a long period of time. You can literally track the harassment and abuse that I'm receiving from these people. This is not a real woman. This is inherently psychologically abusive, and the fact that it was aimed at me, most specifically, is against my rights as an American. This is a torture event. Whether her sexuality is being used to torture me, specifically, like she has been bonded to me, this character of Stephanie Yostin, these women who are taking upon this persona, this mask, because you can see that woman does not appear to be that woman, does not appear to be that woman. Though they are very similar. They look very, 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 very similar. They are, I believe, being used, bought sexually, and used as vehicles of abuse. Instead of money being spent like a dowry to buy their sexuality wholly in a marriage type situation, where you could even have more than one wife like that, or concubine, girlfriend, mistress, friend, lover. The laws don't respect that these days, despite the fact that these people are attacking me in this way, using law enforcement, I believe, to attack me in this way. It says guerrilla behind them, but I think that's the idea, is that this is some sort of camouflaged law enforcement rape tactic set off by some sovereigns in foreign lands or something else. I didn't set this forth. They pretended to be some sort of marriable woman, right? And it's attractive to me. First of all, I find them attractive, and I find their chaste image attractive. I don't want to be abused sexually. I want a wife who hasn't given herself away sexually and abused me with it. But someone who could shield me with her sexuality like that, and then help me shield other women who already have that situation and are being harassed in some sort of sexual dungeon, that would be helpful as well. I hope I'm not... One thing I just realized is I've been covering the mic with my thumb there, so I'm taking my thumb off the mic. I would really like the game of sexual domination to not be a problem. When I originally brought this up with the person I was living with, Joel Macaluso, he was my friend and roommate, or I guess housemate. I was renting the garage from him, and he was seemingly friendly, though I believe he was working for law enforcement. I haven't done anything illegal before these people have attacked me and abused me and tortured me. They've used this character to do so. And it's hurting so much, whether they've actually attacked me with this woman's sexuality or not. Someone's sexuality has been used to attack me, and I've pointed it out on my YouTube. And instead of helping me, the Houston police, through Detective Nick Vo, put false charges on me. And that's what I'm getting at. But these women were used in a way to seduce me and have been harassing me. I created my Instagram and social media accounts to point this out. It's very clear from my Instagram, Yo Matt Ya, and my Twitters, my Instagram, Yo Matt Ya and Matthew is Yo, and my Twitter, Yo Matt Ya and Matthew is Ya, that I was using them to document what was going on, to satire these women who are abusing and harassing me, these men who have caught these women in a dungeon, and these women have caught me in a dungeon. And they're all abusing me in a way which is unacceptable. And now the legal system is being used. Okay? This is not a real woman. This can't persist. Her image is being used by corporations to sell products and abuse me and harass me. That's not legal. Additionally, when I made my YouTube, which let's go back to the videos. The first video on my YouTube here, we go back months. Now it's been 5 months. 5 months since Nick Vogt put those charges on me and dropped the crypto community billions of dollars and has affected forward progress billions of dollars. This is my first video, 7 months ago. A couple days after that, 7 months ago, Stephanie Yostin, fake person, multiple women. I described them harassing me. I start describing their earthquake events, I think biblically related to the harassment that I'm receiving attached to the law enforcement system that is abusing me. I'm describing her as a fake woman here. Make sure my finger isn't on the mic here, because it looked like it was. In fact, here, I'm gonna put this on my head so you get like my first person perspective. It's really annoying that I keep putting my finger on the mic. Mike Al is the name that the one who has the Word of God on him in the Bible is, and I believe that's the one who has IA on him, who would catch corrupt cops like Nick Vo, who I've asked for help. I'm being tortured and abused by these people. They're using corporations to do so. Now, instead of helping me, because you see these events which are going on, this isn't because this is legal. This isn't because this is okay that there's massive earthquakes happening all around the world. This is because this is against the Word of God. This is against magistrate. That's what Bible is talking about. Real magistrate. When you see Jehovah's Witness out there, they claim to be a witness to a real magistrate, though they have to believe in Jesus. You have to have the Son to have the Father to Jehovah's Witness. That's what the Bible says. The New Testament clearly says that. You take the name of IA out of the book, you get a bunch of corrupt police officers. You get it? Yeah. Here I'm talking about women that have been connected to me. Brianna Worthing, who I've reached out to recently. Caitlin Worthing. Allison Payton. Maybe that's another Allison that also, but Allison Payton, neighbor. Whitney O'Hearn, someone from Drop Clock. Here, you can clearly see Stephanie Yostin is kicking up to a greater degree in the harassment. Now they're stripping her naked publicly. It feels like they're pouring acid into my veins and cooking me alive from the inside. I'm connected to every one of these women like they're my wives, more bonded into me than any of today's modern men are bonded into their wives. 100%, whether you want to agree it or not. I can literally shake the planet, I'm so sensitive to this. Stop fucking with me. You're hurting me. You're hurting everyone. You're hurting future generations. You've raped an entire generation with the police. Here's when the police start harassing me in October, because they realize that I'm starting to cover this publicly, and I'm starting to cover that here the Pope has taken the name of IA out of the Bible, and that's why you have corrupt magistrates in Italy that are robbing from me. That's why I can't get my cryptocurrency to be looked over realistically as, well, fake magistrate has found out you can pay people off to harass people. Maybe they're saying cryptocurrency is bad, even though it's trackable money and cash isn't. And they're just paid off confusers in confusion land to hurt people. But I live in America where I know I have my rights, and these people are violating my rights. Do you get that? So as I'm going through here, here's about 5 months ago, but you can clearly see the obvious narrative that's going on. I'm being harassed. I'm trying to get it out. I'm using satire to deal with it instead of violence or hurting people. Instead of sexual violence, I'm using satire, domination, because these women should be bringing me their buttholes anyway instead of harassing me with them. Else they need to be doing something better with their sexuality. You can't be claiming this and doing that. You can't be harassing me in this way doing that. You get it? God can hold the fake duality in his hand. Humans trying to harass God can't. The Bible, if you are a Christian, it is clearly about a person with a word of God on them, the word of IA, to deal with this. By the way, The fair maid of the West. It looks like people are geared up for war against the police. This is why people hate the police. This is why it's us versus them. They're paid off by Saudi Aramco or some fake Mecca rape religion in Saudi Arabia. It is a fake made-up religion that a bunch of money has been used to create a fake Mecca, to fake Mecca rape slam me using these women who've been paid off. I think by Shell Oil for Steph Chirac and King of Saudi Arabia for at least one of the Britneys. Something else. That is what is being psychologically impressed on me in this psychological torture and abuse chamber, where I can't tell what's going on because I'm being cut off and shadow banned and abused. Here is this video that is directly spoken of in the report. It is 4 hours long. It starts off with me watching a volcano. But there's a clear narrative of what's going on, and it's been going on for a while. And here's my defense. I have all my defense, including the Dynamo defamation. This has been going on for years. People have been harassing me and defaming me for years. They've used the Dynamo there, and I know this is going on publicly. This dude, Bill Harris, you are an embarrassment. That's the husband of Judy Harris from Bullseye Storage, where I had my stuff after I was illegally evicted after they're harassing me, fucking with my power, which is against the lease. They're hurting me this whole time. This is why people are thrown alive into a burning lake and why a third of mankind dies. Because there's no recourse for this and it hurts more than being hit by a car. And I've been saying that. No one's doing anything to change this. It's obviously the most public thing on the planet. This is being watched in Africa, Hong Kong. This is being watched in LA, New York. These Texas corrupt officials are abusing everyone. They're abusing future generations. Future generations have to look at this time as a time when it was so corrupt. You could see on YouTube videos, the state of Texas was a state of abusers using the justice system to abuse people's rights away in America, which this is going to end. I've asked the NSA and US Cybercom for help. This is hurting AFRICOM's mission because people in Africa are clearly watching me, telling me they're watching me. Thousands, according to one lady in Ghana, she said that she knows thousands. This being some kind of Truman Show where I'm cut off from seeing myself on the actual reality that is already a violation of my rights because I can't defend myself properly. Additionally, it's hurting me in a way which is torturesome. But when I go over these people's harassment charging instruments, which this is the information on, they've put 4 of these on me legally, and there's apparently 8 of these. And they're saying, by the way, none of these women told me to stop. I just got charged with, like, that I said, bring me their buttholes. Nick Vo thought that this was appropriate to waste billions, to hurt billions of dollars in the economy. And Judge Baldwin has felt it appropriate to continue this. And wealthy people are using this as an opportunity to exert down on the populace, on the people. That's what the end of this book is. People like the King of Saudi Arabia and kings in Thailand and kings in Malaysia and Bali are paying off fucking people at the gods, quote unquote, the Balinese gods, people with a lot of money and crypto money, and people who've been harassing me and stealing away my shit have been using it to sexually attack me with these people and hurt me and hurt people, and they're sneaking into America to attack me, and that's what this is about. Do you get that? That's why it's IA and a just judge, a righteous judge. They're hurting all the people. By the way, Judge Baldwin, in Revelation, when it's talking about the Nicolaitans, so I think the Nicolaitans are people like Nick Vo, who spells it even that way, N-I-C, Nicolaitans. It is in your favor, nevertheless, that you loathe what the Nicolaitans are doing. I mean, they've put these false charges on me. Are they having sex with these women? Raping these women's husbands? I was doing it in a very gospel-style, hilarious way. These people are fucking rapists the way they're going about this. When it's talking about being sacrificed to idols, Balaam and Balak and Judge Baldwin and Judge Baal-Am and Judge Baal-Ak to set a trap for the Israelites so that they committed adultery by eating food that had been sacrificed to idols. This is talking about sexuality. the Stephanie Yostin characters who look all chaste and stuff, their sexuality has been sacrificed to men. And it's, the men just get them once and that's it, I think. And instead of the women being, they look like they would rather have nothing more than to be with me, but their egos cannot relent and say, yeah, that's true. Here it's talking about, I think they get some of the women pregnant and then abuse their children. Where it's talking about, now I'm consigning them, like Jezebel, who claims to be a prophetess. Is this Bella Hadid? Isabel? Any of the Isabels that I know? Emilio's sister? I mean, whoever this is who claims to be a prophetess, by her teaching, she is luring my servants away to commit the adultery of eating food which has been sacrificed by idols. Two idols, 214. I have given her time, is that a yoke? I have given her time to reform, but she's not willing to change her adulterous life. The rapist life that is abusing me, that these fake police officers, Nick Vo is trying to say he's protecting people from. He's a rapist. Judge Baldwin's a rapist. They're hurting me. They put these charges on me. So that's what, when I'm saying this is why you'd be thrown into a burning lake and experience the retribution you experience, this is where it's described in the book. When it's talking about the, I shall come to you like a thief, hold on, Sardis, I believe this is the 5-month period where they put charges on me and or evicted me, or they take this to the nth level where they're just using police to rape men and rape women. I think they're forking women. It is like a cryptocurrency like reference. Hard forking women, so it's like they're in a relationship with a man supposedly they really like, and then they make it overwhelmingly difficult for the woman to say no to, like, well, that dude's just gonna put a baby in you and he didn't give a fuck, but he just wants to put a baby in you and that's it. The baby can whatever, he didn't give a fuck. But this person who you have a relationship with and the child attached to that, literally it's like destroying them and killing them on the inside. It's not worked out mutually. It's just a rape attack. It's adulterous rape attack. And it creates a timeline where rape is allowed and false magistrate is allowed to abuse people. Judge Baldwin is allowing this. Again, is this Stephen Baldwin? Is this a lot of money being spent? And is this Stephen Baldwin, Haley Baldwin, and Justin Bieber? Because I pointed out that their relationship, like all these people are in fake relationships. They're all fake Christians. They're spending money in satanic ways to abuse me and harass me. Else they immediately need to end this and fix this. But no, I don't see it. I just see them raping and abusing me. God is judging you actively. In the least, you are supposed to help me like a Christian, but instead you've been harassing me from a distance. It's really obvious. There's archives of it on all sorts of clouds. There's no way of getting out of this. This is reality. The sixth thing is where the name is put on me. The name, Jesus' name, but when he's saying the word of God name. Yah, Yah. And here's where God on the throne. I'm the most sovereign person on the planet because sovereignty comes from this reason. Do you get it? And I believe here is where they make up for the sexual attacks on me, where you can be given or buy sexuality as a dowry. You can buy it off. That's what it's talking about here. 144,000 chaste virgins on Zion. That's for me. That's for the word of God, the one with the name on him. Police are not treating this right. Corrupt police are hurting people. It's hurting people that they're not engaging this market manipulation. The SEC needs to engage this. Someone needs to engage this. This is really happening. Someone's putting a lot of money into dropping the market as it's going up. They're losing money, but they're trying to consolidate power by keeping me and the people who would make change poor. That's what they're doing. Additionally, they're defaming me to my parents and causing problems. So when it puts me as God on the throne, my dad and my mom are not the authority over me. I am the father of Jesus Christ is the idea of this. Do you believe in Jesus? It's the reason behind things. If the God Emperor of the future eventually could do anything, I could send my semen back in time and impregnate some Jewish girl, right? If I have all the power in the future from singularity, and that starts whenever everybody decides that's the person that can do it. That's what's going on. And I'm that person. And it's not the Catholic Church. It ain't the Pope to do it for sure. He doesn't even, I think he touches little boys or something. He's definitely allowing the Catholic Church to do it, and they took the name out. Yahweh, Yah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. So, to Thomas Hernandez, to people asking, what have they done to me? Like, what exactly is the issue? Court order of no contact. I am not allowed to contact Nicole Aguilar, Bethany Paget, so Nicole Fritchie, Claire Paget, or... Where's this other character? She's directly in one of my videos. Or Brittany De Orbegasso, that's Brittany Orlando. Which I don't even believe, I believe I reached out to these women and the police are cutting me off in a shadow ban. They're using some sort of cyber operations. And because I've contacted NSA, I really am being IA over them because they have harassed away my rights. And I'm gonna go over the false imprisonment and all this. Judge Baldwin has ordered a second notice of evaluation. I have to go to this tomorrow or I go to jail. So I believe I'm gonna go to this. But I believe this is harassment, demeaning abuse in and of itself. I believe this is false imprisonment in and of itself. I believe Judge Baldwin has violated my rights to such an extreme degree because she's a newbie judge and she wants to impress the judges around her and seem resolute and like she can make or whatever, and she's been put up to it by the other judges. My mom and aunt, who are connected to these people. I mean, they work at the Upper Kirby Mediation Center, but I think these people are trying to teach my family a lesson because I made some jokes about Big Al. But all sorts of people around the world believe in Al, and I think the joke was on them that God would use this in the way to deal with them. This is the second evaluation that I'm receiving in 2 months. The first one, I described the whole situation. I've been describing this situation over and over to people at the Competency and Evaluation Unit, the Baker Street. They're trying to bake me alive and torture me because they're trying to do this as long as they can. That's my knee, which, by the way, this knee thing, in Revelation 19, it talks about having the Word of God written on the thigh and on the marrow. They could test me at any time to see what's going on with my leg because there definitely is an issue. You can hear it. It's constantly having issue. It's constantly... There is something wrong with it, and what I believe is, this is talking about Jacob, even my little cousin. So is this me opening up the way for my little cousin to not die and not have a terrible life because my aunts and family would be creating a dumbass world where they would die? So maybe is my little cousin also having to go through this pain at the same time, or what? This is talking about Jacob, Jacob. Yaqub, as Nation of Islam say, Nation of Islam. So when they're talking about the messenger, and it's talking about the 2 wives and the 2 maidservants, right? And Yaakov, heel catcher, wrestled with Ishman until dawn. That's what it's talking about in Revelation. There's a dawn. And they can't do this when all the world is watching and I'm crowned with the sun. I'm literally their bosses. Like Judge Baldwin, I'm a higher authority than you. I'm pretty sure Iran is pissed off that you guys are claiming to be some authority when you're attacking someone who they can at least tell is religious and they're being hailed on and flooding is happening to them. I believe even they're going to say, y'all are Satan as compared to what I'm doing here, because they can't say Jehovah is Satan. They can only say that, I'm not. And at this point, it's very hard to say that I'm not connected to that spirit, that I don't believe in that spirit. In fact, you would have to be lying to do that. You'd have to be like Nick Vo and commit perjury. So again, I think this is something where the magistrate here, it talks about Elohim, which is gods or magistrate. I think world magistrate is watching this and abusing me right now. Elohim, or is this, what is this? Because gods, the gods, I mean, is this Mecha Slams? I mean, is this gang authorities? Is this underground? Is this the high table that John Wick comes for? This clearly says judge, God, the gods, rulers, judges, divine ones. I think people with certain diplomatic immunity that are attacking me and abusing me and stealing away my rights as an American and have attacked me in an illegal way with no recourse for me other than to publicly deal with them and have people thrown alive into a burning lake because they've been torturing me, trying to elicit the response that, no, these women are just some women and I'm crazy and what I've done is wrong. No, what I've done is not wrong. I've satired some abusive women. The women in this video, Brittany Orlando, Amy Jurgen, there's clearly witchy stuff going on around these women. Kelsey Whiting saying stop harassing these women. Women like Kelsey Whiting who get into fake relationships. Clearly the end of the Bible is there's no more fake marriages because someone already put it in her butthole before her husband did. And that is not her actual husband. It's the first person that put it in her butthole. You're supposed to be linked to that person forever. That person doesn't have to divorce you. He can add on. He can add more, which has been my point. These women are connected to someone. At this point, I think they're connected to money and me because they're attacking me. Brittany De Orbegoso was clearly following what was going on my Twitter and harassing me, else signaling in a way where she's trying to connect with me and people are cutting me off. People are actively surrounding me in a military police style fashion and abusing me. And nobody and all sorts of women are watching and not taking real action, which would help women actually. I know Olivia Munn, Emily Ratajkowski, Alessandra Ambrosia. Look, Alessandra Ambrosia is even using her daughter's image to harass me. I'm just this cat here, you get it? I'm just a cat. As much as I can shake the planet, I'm trying to be loving here because they're watching from a distance and I think she sold her daughter's sexuality. Her daughter's already not a virgin. Like, they're all just abusing me and laughing at, oh, I'm just a cat. And it's all right because they've been given some sort of diplomatic immunity. But still, I'm offering Alessandra Ambrosia, like, a shield. Same thing with Daddy O'Brien here, Caitlin Lennon. Because all these men who they're shielding under don't give a fuck about them. They're all satanic idiots. That's even who, like, she follows Satan on her shit. And it's like, Satan's just adversary. He didn't like you. He didn't give a fuck about you. I can not give a fuck about you, but still want the best for everything and make you comfortable and me comfortable, which is listen to this instead of stop attacking me and taking my rights away. That's what they're trying to do. Here, it's really obvious I could have gotten plenty of kitty, right? You see all the kitty around me? There was no reason for me to be like a monk and an ascetic and try to figure out what this reality is and was. The reason I did that was because it doesn't feel good the way this reality is done. And what I've been describing is why. Women's sexuality is connected to the men that they're first connected to. And or most dominant over the situation that can fix it. That's why the word of God fixes everything at the end. I've been saying this to these people, this needs to end. I believe the end of the Bible is, like, it's really obvious people are signaling safe here. I believe it's really obvious what I'm saying is the safest bet forward for humanity, even if you are an atheist, you don't believe in this, that, or the other. I'm holding to truth more than these people, like a whole group of people claiming to be the objective truth. My subjective truth is literally starting to shape reality because it's the objective reality. That it's like that quantum observer effect, right? Well, who do you think the meta-programmer is? God. Which God? IA. To all the magistrates, IA. As they take this overboard, people just revolt. This is not how you hold power. This is why these people would be catapulted out of power. If politicians really wanted to be respected, they would not be harassing me like this. So here, I'm clearly being harassed by these people. I'm clearly being watched. People who are teachers, I think, are being paid off by organizations to harass me. It looks like Shell is playing a part. It looks like oil companies are playing a part. If they aren't, people are trying to suggest that to me, and me saying this is only because people are harassing me. I'm not trying to hurt your brand image. That was never my goal. My goal is a better reality. People are trying to hurt me, and I want to be out of this hurting more than getting hit by a car. I still have the blood on me from being hit by the car, by the way. So I'm being harassed here, and these women have filed false charges. And they've actually added more charges on than that. But one thing that I've noticed is I can't find these charges on the internet. I've looked for them, and I could find all the people in the probable cause hearing around me. I can't find these charges. This is against my right to a fair and public trial. This is why I'm wrestling with magistrate and clearly winning. They've cut me off and shadow banned me in ways that would defend me within the modern day context of public, and they've affected my modern day context of public. They're trying to cut me off in ways which are actually hurting me. They've falsely imprisoned me. That's illegal. Judge Baldwin, what you've done is illegal. Nick Vo, your perjury is illegal. Your detainment and these police officers' detainment without a warrant, the warrant based on your probable cause, which is perjury, which is provable from the video that you're claiming. It's a satirical video. You're, first of all, infringing upon my First Amendment rights, but you're clearly not taking the real harassment at hand, and you're empowering abusers and harassers, along with the people who have robbed from me. They took my car, they took my cryptocurrency, which is trackable. If this is some kind of hazing ritual by the police, 1/3 of mankind dies because of this rape action. 1/3 of mankind, and people are thrown into a burning lake. You're hurting everybody. This is billions of dollars to the crypto market being done because they're trying to manipulate things around me. People, moneyed interest, King Salman, Omans and Sultans, and the people that you can clearly see on Yo TV here that I'm using my First Amendment rights to shine a light on. If it's defamation, you need to give me the perspective to prove it. Otherwise, you are attacking me and you are hurting me. Why is Bibi Netanyahu meeting with Oman? These Jews are fake Jews. They only claim to follow the tradition when they don't follow the spirit of the God that they claim to follow. I love Jews. I would never hurt Jews. These are fake Jews. I love Jews too. That's why the book of Daniel here, when you go here, the book of Daniel. So this is in the Old Testament. Jewish people hold to this. This is when it's talking about Michael. You can say, Michael, yo. That was Jesus, by the way, I think, the great prince. I'm gonna be the king. But there's a flip-flopping that happens. I get to be the king and the prince. And I think that if Ray Wilkins listens to me, believes I'm the word, he has this on him too. Otherwise, he maybe doesn't, but it still works out for me, so I'm good. This is talking about the Ancient of Days, a throne being set in place. I believe my father, Ray Wilkins, can be set on a throne. It can respect all veterans here in America instead of abusing away veterans' rights. It can respect all humans' rights. He doesn't have to die. My grandma doesn't have to die. My mom doesn't have to die. I can't get my mom. By the way, my grandma told me I could have the deed to this place. My mom's trying to not respect that. I've asked her for help. She's a real estate lawyer. She's my lawyer. She hasn't helped me with the eviction. She hasn't helped me with the deed here. She is actively playing part against my interest. There's no recourse for me other than to make this public and say, this is what people can trap you in and are actively trying to trap you in if you don't speak up. Women, if you ever felt like you were in a sexual dungeon, this is why. Because a strong man who is sensitive enough to women can't get out of it. I don't want to hurt women, but I think the women that are attacking me are rapists. And I think the men that are attacking me are rapists. I know it. This is talking about being given sovereignty. And the people connected to me who want this, if I've asked you to be a wife, girlfriend, concubine, a saint, and you aren't attacking me, if you are a friend of mine, a male friend, and I've asked you to be one of these things, I've told you about this, this is what it's talking about. Because the whole world is watching. Instead of some fake governance system where the politicians that we don't agree with are setting up stuff behind closed doors, this was already set up. It's just believe the person who's obviously telling the truth. All sorts of Anons can see this. I even believe that's why money's dropping out. Because Anons know what's going on. This is more public, obviously. And the shadow banning of me is causing problems with my rights. Because in 2019, it's against my right to fair trial. So this has been against my right to fair trial. This is talking about a fourth beast. Yo. Battery ran out. This is talking about a robotic system. So I think it's the police, because they're just holding to orders like it's the Nazis holding to, like, literally one of the police officers you see in my YouTube kept saying it's just a process. But even in the video, even in the music that's coming out now around like EDM and stuff, the songs that are saying, "No, don't shoot him. He's just following orders." That's where people are. Why are people there? Because the police are a gang of corrupt criminals. False imprisonment is illegal. Perjury is illegal. Abusing women is illegal. Nick Vogt. All of this is abuse and illegal to an extreme degree. This is why I've been saying you and Judge Baldwin be thrown in a burning lake. Why I've been saying everybody up the chain to the president. This is talking about a fourth beast is to be a fourth kingdom on earth, different from all the kingdoms. It will devour the whole earth, trample it underfoot, crush it. As for the 10 kings, this kingdom after... I mean, I think overhead, the NSA can see that people are really making alliances connected to. There are groups of people who are very powerful, and this fits symbolically what's going on. And they're trying to take sovereignty, liberty in America. They're trying to take your ability to have fun. They're gonna make this place way worse than I would, trust me. I wanna make this place a party. I'm just really strict on don't fucking torture me. It's talking about here, he is going to speak words against the Most High and harass the saints of the Most High. You will consider changing the seasons in the law, and the saints will be put into his power for a time, 2 times and a half time. But a court will be held, and his power will be stripped from him, consumed and utterly destroyed. Is this Donald Trump? Is this some foreign king? Is this the Mickey Mac Troy guy? Is this someone around this city that is considering themselves Satan to try to go against God? And a bunch of people are like, you say God and I say Satan. I was watching The Punisher, and that was one of the songs in the background, and I was just like, I say magistrates, like God, the magistrates, and you say adversarial magistrate, adversary, you say adversarial magistrate, you're brain dead. I say Yah, IA, because you say blah blah blah, I say Yah. I say IA because the police are acting corrupt. It's really obvious. I'm not against legal authority. I'm against abuse, and I'm being abused. That's what this is talking about. To harass the saints, the set apart of the Most High God. Yo, Matthew Ray Wilkins. The Most High Magistrate. People are acting like robots. I'm even having to be a person trying to be like an android thing with a name on me trying to deal with this. Or, you know, making it make sense. They're abusing me. They're harassing me. They're saying I'm harassing them. When I brought up the harassment, that's when they put these harassing communication charges on me. This says, but a court, so a time, 2 times and a half time, a time, 2 times, 3 years and a half, 3.5 years, 1,260 days. Going back 1,260 days, how long has that been? Is that 1,260 days into Donald Trump's presidency? Or was he given a throne before then because it's rigged? Or something, they calculated the probability was probably going to be him. Or what happened? But I do believe, or is it not Donald Trump and he's just laughing at this? But there is someone on a throne harassing me, and he probably thinks the going around in the Beast Limo thing is probably distasteful. I mean, something like that. Some things are clearly distasteful. You could do with less of it. I recognize legal authority. Something's attacking me and disguising it as, like, whatever. And, you know, it's very hard to tell because the wormwood that's been put on. These women, this Stephanie Houston, it can't go on that they're causing this kind of problems. They're not real women. Their account can have more. Like my Twitter here, if you go to my Twitter here, it's shadow banned. Look, it's banned. It's restricted. And I've contacted them about this. They don't want to change it. Is this someone in some foreign place? Is this someone in Mexico City? And I'm blowing up El Popo? Like El Popocate Patal, and they're still not recognizing this? Is this someone is this Bibi Netanyahu? I mean, is this Bibi here? Because I called her out in a video? I'm being harassed and it's not being engaged. And the way that this is being kept going is my parents, Cheryl Cohorn and Ray Wilkins, are ducking their heads in the sand. And they're able to not engage this problem. It's hurting me and all Americans because my mom is my advocate, but she's not acting like it properly. I need her to do things for me. I had money to pay off her house. She didn't do the things that I needed for me to pay off her house, and I lost money because the Big Grill thing. There's a lot of issues that are going on that could be fixed, and a while ago, the defamation that I've received from the Dynamo and the harassment that I've received from the Stephanie Yostin account, which is being used by Uniqlo NL, it's being used by companies to sell products. That's not legal. She can't use her image in a way that's harassing and hurting me and abusing me. There is no way else. That is clearly why I'm saying, as a corporation, you'd all be pulled out of your whatever daily thing you're doing by people and thrown into burning lake. I don't believe by the end of this, the police are not going to be able to protect you, and they're not going to want to. Unless it's a police rape excursion. They thought they could get away with a sexual assault attack, which is not appropriate. It's not helping anybody. It's physically hurting me because these women are attached to me, and you can prove it, and they're trying to stall on proving it. It's their consolidation of power. They're trying to do everything they can to mess with my rights here. Again, the false imprisonment hurts my ability to defend myself, and the non-fair trial where I can't find this, but I could find everybody else in the probable cause hearing around me. Again, the people that died because of the marijuana laws that are still broken here and not actually following the legal system. So I know my Aunt Kathy Stone has some sort of, as a judge, they're treated with more respect and honor because they can hold these people to account. And they're given more authority to look over situations. My family holds to things like robots to a degree, except if you've tricked them, if you've defamed me to them, and then caused psychological like disturbances on me, like I'm screaming about the defamation because it's hurting me and I can't get them to go the other way, that's a problem. That's illegal. It's against my rights. The defamation seals the deal there. Here's me wrestling with magistrate. So I think, is this over IP? I see the Yo stuff. I'm not monetizing my stuff. I want to get my voice out. I'm a church. I'm not dealing damage to brands either. I'm telling people how to fix them. People have figured out how to rot people in the thigh, and I think the magistrate here has struck me with this, and it hurts more than being hit by a car. And that's why it's talking about this, and that's why the Jacob here is considered Israel. The name goes from Jacob to Israel. He will rule as God. He will rule as a prince in Hebrew, I believe. Yisrael. God prevails. He will rule as God. You get it? Michael in this book of Daniel. Who God? Who is God? The great prince, one of the leading princes, standing up to the kingdom of Persia. Iran, which is, I mean, who's spending money to depress the people's markets here? I mean, actually. Who's spending money to do? It's not me. And by the way, people saying to me, I got messages from PD Prince, which is one of the reasons I feel like I'm being harassed by the police, and why this book, speaking of the book of Daniel, and it's talking about being harassed and harassing the saints like a sovereign. They don't harass the King of England like this. Actually, he's been sent. They're making Prince Harry feel like he's crazy and shit. So I do actually feel like they're harassing all kinds of sovereigns now, and that's what it's talking about. It's like tramples everything underfoot. Some kind of fake DSM. Look, the DSM, the diagnostic manual, has changed since the first time I started looking at it. That's how changeable and Buddhist that shit is. This shit doesn't change. That's why when it's talking about that he will consider changing seasons in law, God isn't going to do that. I know what the seasons in law are. Now you can see the weather stuff. They're getting lightning and hail and stuff all over the country. That's not normal. It's clearly not normal. It's clearly connected to me saying that you're getting hail from God, from IA Magistrate. Look, it's lightninging. You're getting lightning and hail over New Orleans. J Electronica. I mean, is this more the Nation of Mecha Slams out of the Inno instead of the YO? Or do you want to be the YO Inno, the Yono, like Yano Wick? Yoy, I got some yokes. There's something up with these people who are just off in the shadows and harass people. Here it's talking about crypto. Someone said PD Prince. So is this the police just really angry that I'm calling out the abusive, harassing police officers as I'm being thrown in jail and falsely imprisoned here in 2019 America, and my sanity's being questioned and I'm being abused to an extreme degree? And first of all, my Second Amendment right has been violated, though they've kind of fixed it. I can't go get a gun, though. The federal government cleared me with a background check. The state didn't. But I talked to the NSA, so I messaged the NSA, right? It's really obvious, because there's no way out of this. I'm going to hold the police to account. I'm going to be the dude that can hold the police to account. I don't want to fuck with anybody's life. Just hold the police to account. That's it. Just an IA magistrate that if you fuck with my party, I can hold you to account. And I can be a model that if you fuck with sovereigns around the world, if you fuck with their party, you can be held to account. You're just some police officers in gangs abusing people. Blue gangs do not get the ability to abuse people any more than a red gang, any more than a yellow gang, any more than a purple gang. Though a purple gang would be like a blue and a red gang coming together, and that's like the Roman Empire, right? So, does that make sense? Here's when I'm saying my First Amendment rights going to be protected by people's Second Amendment rights, that's the truth. They're violating my rights here. Judge Baldwin has violated my rights. She was talking about confiscating my airsoft guns. That's a abuse of power to an extreme degree. Unreasonable search and seizure. I've been having to... I believe that the police played part in letting me be robbed, and that the magistrate in Italy is playing part in doing this, and that the state of Texas here has allowed it. The nano stuff. Otherwise, I would have had my nano back, because it's trackable currency. Like, they're literally not... They're watching this, and they're choosing every day not to take a real action on it. Even though, like, $170 million... It's still a lot of money. I believe it's still, like, $70 million. If it goes up, like, to a third of what it was, it's $170 million. I mean, does that give you any indication of how much money this is? This is almost $1 billion that was stolen in nano, which is out of Austin. So the state of Texas is allowing the state of Texas to be robbed here, I think because of oil interests paying off the people in positions of authority. I keep saying oil interest. If it's not, they need to get at me right now. This needs to end. Whatever interest it is needs to stop. If it's a nons, this needs to be pointed out by people. I'm being hurt. My Fifth Amendment. I'm showing my entire reality, and it's violating my Fifth Amendment right to, like, not have to self-incriminate myself. Like, there are things that are going on, even jaywalking as I'm walking with this on. It's like, but I'm having to do this to show the harassment that's going on. This is how I'm proving the harassment. Except I can't get any real agency or body to take this seriously, so I've tried to pull as many fire alarms as I can. Additionally, there's a lot of things that I'm trying to speak out about and against that need to be fixed immediately so that this can be righted and then we can just go there. I don't want to die. I don't want my mom to die. I don't want my dad to die. I don't want my grandma to die. I don't believe they have to. I think it's a resource game, and there's a game of people harassing us and trying to steal their life away. This is talking about excessive bail. My Eighth Amendment rights, you can see my bail slip here, and my conditions. The conditions, no airsoft guns. That's excessive. This is excessive because I'm literally giving on my live stream. Yo, you can see where I am all the time. I'm always willing to come up on my live stream. Yo, you can see where I am all the time. I'm always willing to come up on my live stream. Only because they wanted to abuse me and demean me and disconnect people have they done this. Only for other people are they doing this. It's torture. This is wrong. This is why I'm saying all these extremely harsh things about all these people. This has been going on since my childhood, but very provably for the past few years since I made those mixes. Because those Stephanie Yostin characters were like the icing on the cake. That was the final, as Lupe Fiasco says, you enjoy the icing on your cake. I think that was it. Okay, here it talks about Dragon Ball Z IP, but it's talking about the King of Persia. I mean, I think I'm being attacked out of these places that are trying to say Allah is their god, but that's a feminine god. And I'm pretty sure that's the Whore of Babylon using some fake Balinese or some fake thing in the... someone's watching over this and saying I'm actually God, and only because the secular magistrate here wants to harass and abuse me in a way which is provable, but they don't want to prove it, and which I'm saying ends in burning lake execution for the judges and police officers that are torturing me in 2019 America in a way that hurts worse than being hit by a car. And I've been saying it. They know that this is public, and I don't have any recourse to end this. That's my knee that just popped. It hurts so much. It hurts more than getting hit by a car all of the time. It's so tiresome. When I got hit by the car, when I didn't cry, it's because like the emotional pain that I'm going through is so much damaging me. It's hard to deal with all the time. Finally, here when it's talking about standing up, the great prince who mounts guard over your people, to the Jews, to the Jews, to the virgin women who don't want to be to the virgin women and men who don't want to be abused by other men and women's sexuality. They want to be tethered to someone who won't do that. To the actual Jews who follow the God that I have that spirit of that God on me. To the police who follow IA and not some corrupt gangs within the police or some Mecca slams in Saudi rape land. If the Saudi government's trying to help me, I mean, then they need to be able to help me. This is what I'm saying. Whoever's cutting me off, you're hurting people. The cutting me off and false imprisonment, it's hurting my rights. So the bail, any bail on the perjury, it's too much. Enumeration of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. I think people are lying and then using their police authority or some kind of sovereignty or diplomatic immunity to harass me, or some kind of throne of harassment. That's what I've been saying about the president or some judge or something. Or is there a demon corps? Am I being held in by military police? Something's doing this. I'm not in some kind of gladiator thing. This needs to end. You can clearly see all the events that are kicking up around God actually judging humanity, the Lord of the Storm and the one who shakes the planet. Christians, you're just waiting on an earthquake here. Even Nazis want to see an earthquake here. I mean, Jews, if you're waiting on the God you claim to follow, Isaiah 29, you want to see an earthquake here. When did that happen? You can clearly see all the weather stuff. I mean, this is not normal weather that's going on, and it hasn't been, and this isn't climate change. Look, you can see here, you can see right now, Jerusalem, and you can see Houston. When they're saying, when they threw me in the mental house, which I had everything documented in an easy discovery on my other Twitter, Yo Matt Yah, that's one of the reasons why they've shadow banned it. So here, at that time, Michael will stand up. Who, Michael? Who God? Who Al? The great prince who mounts guard over your people. So I'm sovereign. That's why the police harassing me is causing problems for them. They've attacked the American sovereign because we've come to that point where America needs to be protected by someone who's American, actually, who's not going to be bought off and who has roots here. And not part of a political system of staying in power, but just here. I'm rooted here. They're only trying to pull me out by my roots and abuse me. That's it. It's talking about all those whose names are found written in the book of your own people will be spared when that time comes. There's going to be a time of great distress, unparalleled since nations first came into existence. When that time comes, your own people will be spared. All those whose names are found written in the book Of those who lie sleeping in the dust of the earth, many will awake, some to everlasting life, some to shame and everlasting disgrace. The learned will shine as brightly as the vault of heaven, and those who have instructed many in virtue as bright as stars for all eternity. The bright and shining star of the morning, Jesus, is put into my hand to shine a light on corrupt police officers like Nick Vo, who would lie, who would probably do other things in the shadows, probably has a gang of police officers trying to attack for the Tennessee Titans here in Texas, playing part in a rape excursion. I mean, is that with Whitney O'Hearn? Is that with all sorts of people playing part in the drop clock attack? It's just some kind of police attack into the city here, using other police departments and other forms of authority to, like, disempower me and hurt me here. And they're paying off people. I can't tell if Judge Baldwin is paid off with money, but I know that she's being exerted on in ways that she does not feel like she would have a reasonable path forward if she does not take the action she's taking on me. She doesn't feel like her career would have a reasonable path because other judges are exerting on her and making her do the same. That's why I'm saying she can shelter under my protection. And in this, before I have to walk down the street to the place, I'm hurting so much you can hear it breaking into place as it's forming back together, because the end of the book is it forms back together. That's why it's on my thigh, and you can hear it. I mean, you hear that? Got like Wolverine-like powers. Logon, that's why it's the logo. It's the Logon. Also, I'm pretty sure the Dragon Ball Z IP is in here. In Daniel. So, you know, to the people here in America, to any lawyers that are watching, I'm asking for your help. To Rock Nation's lawyers, I call people out on bullshit. You guys should find that awesome. You guys should be happy that there's a real person who would be willing to put himself out there to call people on their bullshit to end problems. I don't have to fuck Beyonce in the butthole, but I do need some real change to happen, and I don't need to be abused and tortured here in 2019 America. I can satirically say some things to get over some points after years of harassment and abuse, and I can feel okay with myself in, you know, nothing's, like, they aren't taking real, reasonable action to deal with this, and people are getting hurt. They're trying to make change slow and use corporations to buy off as much of this reality as they can and consolidate power, and all it's doing is hurting people. This is the people's money. Trackable money that's decentralized is the people's money. You get that? And, I mean, there's all sorts of other amendments, by the way, that are being violated by harassing me. Additionally, cryptocurrency needs to be recognized by the government. The ACLU, I mean, I know this is being watched, and you are going to regret not taking this opportunity to end all sorts of harassment that is put on innocent people constantly. Minorities are constantly harassed by corrupt judges. So Judge Baldwin, you should feel terrible because some white people are trying to harass me, and those white people are being paid off by Arab people, and they're also paying off black people to pretend that they're Muslim and Arab. I mean, it's a fake religion that came out 900 years later after Jesus said Babylon was real and explained the House of Bel and confusion. And I'm pretty sure it's just, this is a fan fiction, but it's like Muhammad Hadid and Khadijah, like Yolanda. And it's just some kind of joke, because have they gotten some kind of sovereignty somehow? I mean, actually, and they're using it to harass me? Someone is. That's what I've been saying. Are they using it to help me? Then someone needs to speak out. It's hurting me that this is going like this. It's violating my rights, and it's only showing that you could violate anyone's rights here in America, because you're not actually going to get a fair trial, because this is what people do. They shove your cases into the dark. Though this is clearly being seen by more than they're, like, letting on. So you can't see the number of people that are watching or liking this. It's just a lot. It's being watched by thousands of people in Africa. You can expect all around the world. You can see when I'm reaching out to crypto and box mining, Omar Bam and Michael Gu, and then immediately they're reaching out and connecting in greater degrees than they ever have. You know that something is going on around me. You know that this is a legitimate harassing concern that I have, where I'm being harassed by people. And I've been asking all of these people to reach out. Because look, when people are harassing me and able to bring down the whole market, they're hurting everybody. They're hurting everybody who's investing. Whatever your investments are. I've been falsely accused of a crime. Do you get it? So this is not only libel and slander. So I have civil cases against the Houston police and the state of Texas and Nick Vo and Judge Baldwin. I have criminal cases because of the false imprisonment and the torture. Just really obviously false imprisonment because he had to commit perjury. You can see it from the video that he's being disingenuous, to say the least, that it's really obviously a lie that I'm harassing these women and trying to harass these women. I'm trying to get attention on this actual situation of abuse and harassment. I think that these women additionally are playing part in things. Maybe they're even friendly to me and they've just been scared to be not friendly to me, and they're trying to scare me into not communicating legally by the court system. If that's true, that's rape. That's why the courts would be thrown into burning lakes over this. You're just people using a mechanical system to rape, torture me. And it's torturing me. It feels like I'm burning alive on the inside. From my veins, they feel like they're burning on the inside. Why are you doing this to me, you fucking terrible people? This has been going on since my childhood, which you can even see. Like, look, I'm grabbing my arm and my eye looks at a place like wonky because it's happened to me since my childhood. I think they attacked some of the girls around me, like they like did that thing where they just buy off their sexuality a little by little. Like maybe from the elementary school that I went to. I think they figured out this was a way you could take over America or something. Because, I mean, if they're part of your kingdom from a foreign land, but they're also American citizens or something, and then they start to do whatever, there you go. So, I mean, I think that's what's happening. I'm the most American person ever, and I'm also dealing with a bunch of fake Jewish people who are satanic and a bunch of, like, fake, well, they're real Muslims, but they're fake. Some of them are really religious. They just have been tricked. That's been my point. So if that's the truth, repent. The kingdom's at hand. Like, the end is here. You can see what this is. Christians are just waiting on an earthquake here. Muslims, at this point, you can be Christians too. You're just waiting on an earthquake here. That's what Isa said. That's what Isa is talking about in Revelation. Deals with the house of Babylon. Is that Muhammad and Yolanda Hadid, Khadijah? I mean, seriously. I think money goes backwards. Money exerts backwards over time. Money and authority. And I think these people use theirs in that way or something. Am I right? I mean, in this. Here's Houston. You can see them at the same time. This is not... I mean, this is normal. This is just the new normal. And this is the first time you've been able to do this as like a person where I can just pull this up and put this on my Twitch or on my YouTube feed. That's why this is my religion and my First Amendment right. Because I can prove it out in real time. And I would be able to prove this out, but they're trying to hold me until I can't. Which, by the way, as it's clicking into place and fixing, once it fixes, I'll be good, but I won't be able to prove this other than I have the evidence. And, you know, I guess it's on a lot of clouds and stuff and all sorts of other shit. But it's like on a network that has worked its way, you know. This doesn't go away, but... You know, you see what's up. So look, that's why Jacob called the name of the place Pineal, face of God, pineal. Is that the pineal gland? Is that pineal? P-N-U-A-L. Here it says P-A-E-N-I-E-L. Face of God. Yo, face of God. That's where Jacob meets Elohim, the gods or judges, is Penuel. Peniel. Penuel. Penuel. For I have seen Elohim God face to face. Panim. Is that Japan? Japanim? The gods, because the Shinto, that's their religion. They get it? Yeah. They probably have some mecha that... Are they trying to mecha slam me too? Or are they the crown with the sun authority? Or is that the... Who is that? That's the police or the federal government? Here is... And it talks about, this is why the children of Israel eat not the sinew, tendon, the thong, which shrank, failed, crippled, rheumatic. This has literally crippled me. The judges here have crippled me. Judge Baldwin is playing part in a sexual abuse cripple event. And the only way the Bible makes this up to me is 144,000 virgins I'm never fucked with ever. I have IA authority. I'm sit on the throne. I'm exactly who I claim to be, but they can't make up for the years of abuse or torture. They can't make up for how painful this is. They can't make up for all the people that have died or all the money that has been lost or wasted. They can't make up for these depressed markets which are being held down around my case because they're worrying people and scaring them around me. I could not go to the thing tomorrow, the competency evaluation. I'm gonna go. I believe I'm gonna go, but I believe it's demeaning. And this is what I believe. If McSally says what had happened to her, which I believe it is. I believe what happened to McSally is rape. And I believe that when she says that the system raped her, sexual assault in the military, and this is, I'm being assaulted by police officers. I'm not a police officer, but I want the authority to IA call them out for doing stuff like this, because I think that's what's happening with the Stephanie Yostens, and I believe that's what's happening with the, those women that they've filed these things on me. So on the mishandling of the rape, she says she was preyed upon. I'm being abused. And this is the same thing where I'm being abused. Was I penetrated? Well, if my wife is my self-same, if that's what you're claiming your wife is your self-same, and these women seduced me and bonded to me like my wives, that's literally how they were able to be this effective and induce this much. And that's why they're as valuable as a corporation or as a thing to sell to people or as, to deal with me as a quote-unquote high-value target. Because, I'm not breaking any laws. It's just the law enforcement system. At a certain point, they're going to exert down on anybody. If you start to make enough change, they're like, we need to exert down on you. They did it to Martin Luther King. Actually. And they did it in really subversive, covert, abusive ways. I feel that's what's happening now. And this isn't being engaged right. I'm literally being tortured. And they're saying they failed on the job big time. That's what Senator Martha McSally said. They've hurt me in a way sexually that they've been able to cripple me, that the Bible literally describes as such. They strike, touch, to lie with a woman. Arrive, acquire, strike, punish, defeat, destroy, touch the calf, hollow. So here I was describing, like from down here, there's a burning sensation from when I got hit by the car and this, which the car thing wouldn't happen if I wasn't wrestling with Magistrate. Neither would I think they've been just a block on me and all of humanity because they don't want anybody to get out because it's just humans sinking to the lowest common denominator. So here it's talking about, this is where Jacob becomes Israel. So if my family wants to see my cousins that have been born recently not be born into a thing where they're just rape abused by a system, they need to work with me immediately. That's what this is doing. If he's already been abused, or if they have, that's the end. That's why that's the end of the book. A third of mankind. And it's talking about limping on the thigh, the shank, the flank, the generative parts. So I believe there's this euphemism, the generative parts. I believe it's sexual, especially when it's talking about It comes from a strike, a lie with. He touched Naga, lay the hand upon the hollow of Jacob's thigh, and the sinew shrank. And this is and crippled, failure, rheumatic. It's being empowered by magistrate, and I have to prove that the magistrate here is playing part, which I have. And people are watching. It's literally being watched in Africa. This is being watched all around the world. And the magistrate here and all around the world. This is why other countries can hold America to account and say, you know, to that guy in Venezuela, get the fuck out of our country. You aren't just. You aren't just. This is why, because they can immediately point to this. There's all sorts of Tors that look into our reality, like backdoor internets. Is that like Thor, just some fake god? Crypto-powered backdoors in reality? Some fake magistrate? There's Tors and there's all sorts of shadow ban, like internets that Anons get around and people with technical abilities that open up doors where you can see what's going on, and they can see what's going on in other countries here, and they can see that my rights are being violated to the most extreme degree of any human that has ever existed in modern day society. I say of any human that has ever existed. Jesus, especially as compared to what I'm saying we could be in, it's violating my rights in a way which is rape, torture. I mean, it's sexual abuse, torture, obviously. I think it goes down in history as rape. I mean, this is wrong, and it's the end. What legal recourse do I have? I've asked for help from lawyers. I mean, Rock Nation, do you want to send lawyers down to help instead of harass me? Do you want to help? Or are you just, is that the dome of the Rock Nation? And that's just Mecha Slam money. And Beyonce's playing part in this Monkey King joke religion of Mecha Slams. And now you're yoked in. Is that what it is? I mean, what is this? That's it. I mean, I believe, and so I am in a place where all sorts of constitutional rights are being violated. This is well within the parameters of my religious beliefs, and as Christians, this is what your beliefs are. Otherwise, you've been lied to and you're lying. You're living false realities, and this is why it would be weeping and gnashing of teeth, because all these fake marriages, I mean, Babylon ends with all these fake marriages are done. I mean, you could be in relationships with your best friends and harems with your best friends and having all sorts of fun connected to the people you want to be connected to. Most specifically to God, to actually the person with God's word on him like Jesus. And people are choosing not to do that. I mean, women have been, I believe, paid off around me to specifically hurt me sexually. And Solomon sent to Hiram Vaughn, IA at Houston Police. I am being abused and you are not doing your job. I publicly went to you months ago. You can see on Yo TV here when I drop off the report at IA. I literally go, I get a ride over there. I get over there. I had gone the night before, but, you know, they close. They aren't 24/7. I mean, it doesn't make sense how they operate. And if this is embarrassing them, I want change and people want change. This is how you don't make this us versus them. This is how you make this you're part of the community and people actually like you. At the moment, you're abusers and people fucking hate you. 100%. Even the people in the jail realize rapists, murderers, and a number of people need to be in the jail. A lot of the people that are in the jail don't need to be in the jail. A lot of the laws that are causing people to be in the jail don't need to be on the books. When you fix those, a lot of the people that commit crimes aren't going to be committing the crimes because the psychological things that are impressing on them aren't impressing on them. Instead, there's a broken system that a bunch of people make money off of and abuse people's rights away. And that needs to end. You can't do this to me anymore. Legally, you cannot. I've called the NSA and Cybercom in on this. They're going to act as IA against this police and judge administration and the Supreme Court, as well as there are, I believe, underground higher courts, high courts that really have a power to deal with reality, and they will affect change in the way that I'm saying, like John Wick. Otherwise, I'm coming for you. I mean, like, John Wick is coming for the high table there. Yochanan Wick. I got yokes. Am I the yoker? Yeah. Those groups are held together by laws, which why would anybody? This is what I'm saying. When Venezuela is falling to Nicolas Maduro, or whatever the opposition is, do I, honestly, am I saying anything anyway, one or the other, Nicolas Maduro or Juan Guaido, or whatever his name is? I want the best for the Venezuelan people. Whichever one actually would listen to what I'm saying and within reason would affect the change that I'm saying, probably the person who's actually rightfully in charge. There are people pretending to be rightfully in charge, using the system of law, like I'm saying, abusing my rights away, making a point of it. There's no way that America can claim to be the bastion of freedom when that's publicly happening. They can see this in Africa. I know they can see this in Venezuela, because I got some Venezuelan friends that, in the least, I think the government was looking at them when they came to me, and then I'm kind of a public figure, right? So then it's on them, but I don't want them hurt. I just want a better reality. I want that kingdom of heaven. Work with me to make that happen, because here in America, you cannot continue this, because my rights across the board have been violated and are being violated. That's it. That's all. Again, what are these people doing if this God that I'm talking about isn't real? If these people's God is real, what I'm talking about needs to be dealt with in the way that I'm talking about it. If these people's God isn't real, well, then they would probably be doing the shit that they're doing. Because they believe in Shem. So, like, when I'm saying these people's God, I mean, at this point, when I'm saying these Jews believe in Shem, which even in the Revelation, Yo Shem, Yah, Shem, you get it? And then, I mean, what else am I to say? Is this also on Ohm? Because Olivia Munn is being used to harass me, else she's trying to reach out to me and people are cutting her off? One or the other. I mean, something's hurting me. Something's mocking the situation, making it seem trivial. Rape isn't trivial. Abuse isn't trivial. This doesn't need to continue. I don't think it's healthy how this is going on like this. I think people can be in their own private, like, networks that are held together well, and there can be more public networks that whatever, but, like, I'm being harassed by models' kids, and it's like another generation of being women taught it's okay to abuse me and harass me at my sexuality, to play the game of sexual domination and join in a way that hurts people. I'm still being loving and saying good vibes, right? And I'm still like, oh, yeah, just a cat. Yeah. God will judge them. The Spirit of God is actively judging them. She made it to Texas, you see? And she's signaling at me in ways which it's really obvious. I mean, she went to Austin to prove a point. That's it. And there's a B next to her, because is that 4chan? That's it. Just someone in Austin rape attacking my reality. One of the Britneys. That's it. I'm gonna end this here. That's a discussion on my rights. By the way, on the 10th is when I have the actual trial. So I have a competency evaluation tomorrow. Which, this is abuse. It's psychological abuse. This is psychological abuse. This is an ankle monitor. I mean, all this. It's actually physically hurting me and leaving, like, indentations in accordance with this thing that I'm trying to, like, shift my leg into place. Which, by the way, I think these women like Emily Ratajkowski are saying they're trying to do the same. Like, either they've suicided themselves into me to prove a point, like their hip is also, their left hip shares this, and like the word of God is a mirror. Or they're trying to connect to me and reach out to me, and this is as close as they can get. I honestly don't know, but whatever is happening, people are hurting me so much, it's torture. I'm not lying when I say it's torture. It feels like people are cooking me on my, specifically on my right side more so. Like on this side, it's like more acute though. I feel like some people's, it's like we're magnets and they exert when you're looking at people, like mirrors and magnets. You kind of exerting. That's what I was talking about with the wisdom thing, left hand and right-handed path. There are real metaphysical meanings to this. There are real scientific meanings that you can gather from these ancient wisdoms that these people were. We don't know how to say it in your science words, but we can say it like this: wisdom. And it does attach to knowledge. And knowledge in Hebrew is dat. So who dat? Is it a data file? Like a .dat? All right. Looks like crypto's working on trying to push its way back up. Bitcoin, again, I believe there's strong market manipulation tied to the people who have a lot of money that are trying to exert on me and my interests. That's it. So, last part of this is, I also believe that this, so here's my bond. Is that James Bond? Because they're looking at this in England. I think England, if they want to continue as a nation, wouldn't they want to offer me sovereignty? Like the United Kingdom. Maybe not Brexit. Maybe not Britain. But like, the sovereigns there. This is where you get sovereignty. People can do this to you too, probably. At a certain point, they just do this to you. They do this to all kind of kings and stuff. The issue is, wait, they want something that, it's like nobody wants to be shoved down like that. That's what America's about. So if you model after me, you can be like me, and we can be, a line of kings and priests. Does that make sense to the men and to the women? This makes a lot of sense, right? Here's my case reset form. I have court on the 10th. I don't want to go to this court. If I have to go to this court, this is going to be considered torture. This is already considered torture. I'm giving Judge Baldwin a chance. If she relents, I will not consider this. I'm holding this against her, and I'm holding this against these people. I'm really merciful, and I'll just say, you don't have to die by being thrown alive into a burning lake for torturing and abusing me at my sexuality and holding down on me with some people who are mocking me like a monkey and have like actually been abusing me from my childhood at my sexuality. I will be super I sit on the throne of grace, right? Of mercy. That's the point. It's like, fuck, dude, the people are trying to make an abusive point around me constantly. Well, I think I can diplomat around this. Shelter under my protection or burning lake execution, because this isn't going away. I'm rooted enough to where, as you pull me out by the roots, the government and or some faction of people will defend me. If you sit behind me, you reinstate this as real authority, that Texas actually takes this seriously and that the government is really taking things seriously. Otherwise, it just looks like a bunch of people paid off by corporations and people in the Mecca Slams land. And I don't think that's helpful for anybody. So, following my evaluation, and here is my lawyer who I didn't ask for, my mom, Cheryl Cohorn, paid him. And I want help, but she's not helping me. They could just contact the news and use their weight, their social weight, and say, I'm a lawyer. In the least, they could get on Yo TV, say, I'm a lawyer, this is happening, this is not right, it's harassment, it's illegal. I don't think she believes that, because I think my mom is part of, either she's just so defamed she's trying to like, it's all right that they make an abuse point, a point to him, because that's how I was taught in the 40s or 50s. And it's like, no, that's not right. You were taught wrong. They abused women a lot in those days, and like, men didn't realize what they were missing out on in those days. This is really fucked up. You need to engage this right. My parents are still caught in the past. They're baby boomers. Someone is exerting on my life and has found that they can defame me to my parents and cause problems when this case isn't being shown in the courtroom. Even if I sent this to my mom, she wouldn't care because she's already so defamed me. Even if I sent this to my mom, she wouldn't care because she's already so defamed me. She's not working in my interest. I have clear evidence when they harassed me out of the Sovereign at 3233 West Dallas that they were messing with my power. It's really obvious, just as they're shutting off my GoPro now. This is illegal, it's abuse. I didn't deserve to be rape abused by this, or like this. I didn't want to be whatever. Well, you know what? I'll say this. I do want to be this emperor person to get rid of all these problems, but I didn't want to be attached to a thing where I was just going to be abused for seemingly no reason unless I make there a reason. And the reason is, first of all, Jesus. Jesus is a real person, and he makes it really obvious people would do that to people. You get that? People would like use empire to abuse people, and they would do that to me. I think they've made every woman connected to me some kind of sexual target where they've harassed me and abused me, and I think they've made all sorts of men around me abusers, and this needs to end because at this point it's being empowered illegally by the United States, actually by the state of Texas, and I believe that the United States government is going to have to reach in because AFRICOM is at stake, like literally Africa, and I think China wants to drive Africa off like a car, and I believe the American military authorities see that the person in Third Ward, who's like the king of Africa, the king of the world, but Africans see it as like the Afro-Asiatic black man from Zion, the real Juju. And I mean, I'm sticking to world tradition, not like American fake Judeo-Christian values, which people do have more than one husband and wife in other places. I mean, not husband and wife. Women have one husband. Men have one. Actually, they do in other places and in this place, but not legally. And what I'm saying is, legally, this needs to be recognized. I can have more than one wife. Actually, my wife is 2 women, and concubine is 2 women. You see how we're doing this? Concubine is girlfriend. This old Testament term for girlfriend, like a mistress, right? So there you go. They're harassing me through this stuff. So to these women that I've reached out to, if Nick Vo has put these false charges so that I can't reach out to them, I've contacted like the highest authorities that there can be, and it's only in their interest that this gets fixed because it's obvious the entire U.S. legal system could fall around this, and there is still American money. There are still Americans, and I'm American. It's really obvious. I'm hilarious too. I know it. Yeah. At least I have good taste in humor and music and stuff, so I share that well. And, I get it right sometimes, right? Yeah. I'm working on just all the time, just in a rhythm, just always going. Man, he's always at 100. That's where we're headed. They're trying to keep me from that. That's actually what they're trying to do. Last part of this is I filed for 2 businesses yesterday with through the state of Texas with my mom. With my mom's help. Drop Clock LLC and Yo TV. I would like help making this into something that really changes the world for the better and brings in the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of the sky, Shemaim? I need people to take real action because there is no real way forward other than listening to the reason that I'm saying. There's no good way forward, and every day that real action isn't taken costs people. So Judge Baldwin and Nick Vo's perjury and false charges, false imprisonment and harassment. The police here, false imprisonment. The harassment charges, which if a judge is saying is, it's legal to imprison me, and then a higher judge says, no, it wasn't. It's false imprisonment. Do you get that to the judges here, Judge Baldwin? I'm being tortured, and it's really obvious you're pretending like you can't see this and aren't watching and aren't aware. This is the most popular thing on the planet. There is no more thing in this woman's interest. So in your interest, Judge Baldwin, because I believe you're watching and listening, and I believe this will get to you. It is no more in your interest to end this and shelter under my protection, because you will not only not have a job, you will be Burning Lake executed in accordance with my beliefs. And it's my First Amendment right to say the beliefs which are written down in two, not just the Greek, not just the Hebrew, but the Greek. 2 witnesses. They attest to this. Malachi ends with the burning furnace, so that's the Old Testament. Revelation clearly ends with the burning lake. I've been there's lakes in America and in Costa Rica, Poas in Costa Rica, Volcan Poas, and there's some, I think, at Yellowstone that are super sulfur lakes. Those are burning lakes. If you're hurting Americans for money or for pride reason, for ego, you're torturing my childhood. They've tortured my childhood away from me. These are just some judges trying to hold down on it. My family at this point, they're acting corrupt. They're not acting good. My family is in the wrong to the nth degree always on this. That was my knee and my hip popping. Look at me. I just want to be happy. When I had money and crypto stuff, I could be happy. Then people stole that. I mean, I say that money doesn't buy happiness, but they're trying to exert on me and abuse my resources and steal from me. When I was like doing well, I was at least like, first of all, an entrepreneur, so I've started 2 new businesses. And so now it's really obvious. You're attacking small business owners. You're attacking specifically a small business owner, so I can't get my small business off the ground for bigger businesses. I mean, this is beyond illegal to the nth degree. This is not some test by the Texas magistrate. This is not some test by anybody. The test ends with the testers being thrown into a burning lake. That's why the Bible ends like that. When they sent me to jail, by the way, they called me rock star in prison, in the jail. I believe people are happy that someone is speaking out about the police and against the police, who's put his life on the line to actually deal with corrupt police officers and judges, who wants to have fun and enjoy himself here. And I didn't have to do this, and I had my own funds. Though the police do have a responsibility to get my money back, and they did. And instead of doing that, they put charges on me in accordance with the people who've robbed me. And they stole my Camaro, too. I want my Camaro back. Or a Corvette. Yeah. Here's a 2012 silver Camaro SS. I liked it. But it seems like I'm being surrounded by the SS. But not a good SS. Just some, like, literally a bunch of abusers that have caught themselves in a trap. And I've been saying, go this way, eternal happiness. That way, you're abusing everybody historically. You're costing people so much money. That drop there is billions of dollars. Whether people want to admit that or not, that's billions of dollars to a market cap. That's a lot of people. That's money out of a lot of people's pocket. Which, by the way, when they drop Bitcoin, I think one of the ideas is it drains out of the alts, and so there's auto traders that do this, that drain out of that, like soaks money out of the alts. The issue is the whole market doesn't go up. The alts go down. They don't get as much money out of their Bitcoin, which is the thing that they're going to want more of in the future. They're taking short-term gain to abuse the system and hurt everybody. That's what I've been saying about Nick Vo, bribed off corrupt police officers. I think, in the least, just committed perjury. But I think he's probably been bribed off. Seems like Brianna Worthing is trying to say with her Twitter handle, bribe EE Worthy, something about that. I mean, actually, which, is that something sexually related? Like, they've bribed off the police with sexual favors and stuff? Or sexual sovereignty to harass and abuse me here in my homeland, to steal away the homeland because it's mine? Like, my land is mine. They're literally, my grandma on video gifted me this house. I can't get my mom to take this seriously, and she told me that she can't transfer the house to me because when grandma dies, Medicaid needs to take the house to pay off her bills. I could pay off the bills with crypto if she spoke up on the harassment that was going around on me. I could deal with all of this. Nobody would be having problems like this. We would be in a better place, in the least. Grandma doesn't have to die. Nobody's gonna take this house from our family. It's been our family for almost 100 years. My grandma's going to be 100 this year. My mom doesn't care and she's not taking right action on this. I can't get my aunt or my cousin to take right action. I can't get people to speak up or stand up for my rights, and Judge Baldwin every day is violating my rights, and she's willingly doing so publicly, knowing it's public, trying to make a show for her friends in the judgeship, like all her judge friends, because they all get benefits. I mean, they all get like immunity and protection from the police, extra protection. And when I've said, there's an IA judge. That's what the Bible is about, because I'm hurting more than being hit by a car, and I know how the judge system works to a degree. I can see into a lot of things, though, to a greater degree than people realize. But it's really obvious that this is not... My right to public trial is not being respected. All sorts of things are not being respected. In the least, she's satanically torturing me in line with these women who are satanically torturing me. This isn't okay. We aren't in a dungeon. She isn't a dungeon master to play dungeon master. Neither are the Stephanie Yostins, neither is Alessandra Ambrosia or the Drop Clock people or any police officers like Nick Vo or whoever else is trying to do that to me. Last part of this is I had all of this very obviously charted out on my Instagram.com/YoMattYa, but this page isn't available because it was taken down. Because when I tagged AOC Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, because I'm being harassed and it's really obvious, she's not only watching, but like playing part in the sexually suggestive harassment. So I made a satirical story where I fatten her up and, you know, fill her with cum and stuff. I mean, are people watching me and harassing me and abusing me at my sexuality, watching porn and dealing with all this stuff, and then when I bring it up, they're like, no, you are wrong, you're a grody, you can't do that. Something like that. If that's what people are doing, it's violating my rights. You're abusing me. You're harassing me. You're fucking up everybody's realities to play a stupid fucking game to hurt people. These people need to engage sexuality better. All these people harassing me need to stop it. They need to not put another generation of women and young girls into a mindset. You get into a relationship with him, and then him, and then him, or you get into a relationship with her, and then him, and then blah, 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 blah. How about this? Like, I'll model this. I'm a king. I want like a wifey, concubine. Like, you know, Israel is 4 women, 2 wives, and 2 concubines. Zion is 144,000 chaste virgins, maidens, but virgins. I believe that these things are a way forward where these people could take care of my family, and there's a reason they would keep my history and we wouldn't die. But instead of that, they're allowing me to die. In fact, they're cutting me off at my life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. All of those things. That's even the generative parts is the life. Liberty is that they've falsely imprisoned me. Pursuit of happiness is they're my First Amendment rights when I'm saying this stuff about sexuality and trying to get it in a reasonable fashion. They're harassing and abusing me and hurting me more than getting hit by a car. And as I've been saying, most of these guys just want to slut shame women. What I'm saying about this is, like, women, all the women connected to me could come and join me. They're a part of my harem. That's a, I think, Arab or Muslim concept, but it's in the Bible. It's the word for wife. It's the same word. Or under the word wife, Isha, the definition harem is used, as well as wives and wife and, I mean, a number of things, right? Do you get that? The idea isn't like My idea was I wanted someone to love, and they made this fake woman, Stephanie Yostin, to hurt me like this. And then they've put these false charges on me to empower abusive female behavior. That it empowers abusive male behavior. These aren't the actual men connected to these women. If these women are lesbians, I mean, then they're connected to me. And whoever's abusing me through these people who it's physical, like you can see it on their being, a bunch of people are connected to me, and that people abusing me isn't good. This is abuse, and that's why burning leak execution. They're trying to skirt things with diplomatic immunity and sovereignty law and saying they're sovereign. You're not more sovereign than God, and you're not a higher magistrate than God, and as police, you're not higher than IA. And real IA, like, Hiram Vaughn never dealt with that issue, and I publicly took that to him. There's no way that person could be considered IA. He's just some person in an adversarial role set in that office, but he's not a real IA officer. Jehovah, Yah, IA. That's actually Hallelujah is Hallelu, IA, in Greek. That's why it's Greek. And, you know, I'm pretty sure the Greeks are going to hold people to this, because this is where the Catholic Church is probably going to fall, because this is just, the fake Pope is doing whatever. And, you know, the Greeks, New Testament was written in Greek. Yeah. Theos, magistrate, the OS, the operating system. I think someone stole that away and has been harassing me with that. So, all right, that's it. I believe for Thomas, I've described the things to a great degree. What is going on here? My beliefs religiously. That I have these charges on me and that my rights are being violated. To America and to the law system and everybody who's asking or wondering, this is what's going on. This is illegal. I mean, I can't stop this illegal action, and if I don't go along with it, they just take me to jail, and I have less of an opportunity to stop it, and then they put more charges on me. I mean, actually. So I have to go to this psychologically abusive rape competency evaluation. I'm obviously more competent than these people are trying to let on. They're just trying to hurt me and harass me. Judge Baldwin, you should feel terrible, because my family has been harassed by white people to harass away my blackness, and black people to harass away my whiteness, and white people to harass away my whiteness, and black people to harass away my blackness. And you're acting as a paid-off judge, harassing me and hurting me, empowering this via magistrate when you know it's wrong and that people are watching, and you looked me in the eye and you lied to me, pretending that this wasn't public and pretending that this was okay. This is public enough to where the whole planet's watching, like through tours and back doors and stuff. Like, a lot of people are watching. Within the Truman Show land here, where they're trying to skirt liability on issues, but say that the woman who hit me with her car is liable, though they've hit me with the state car here. Like, the state legal system is a car, and they've hit me with it. Because I'm the thing rooted here. My family is, for sure, but God, real God, is the thing rooted. This needs to end. This is physically painful and this is hurting. If I don't go to the competency evaluation, they're going to throw me in jail. If I go, it's admitting that they're saying I'm not competent, and they're saying that this is okay to rape and abuse me and question my competency multiple times when it's really obvious that. So, again, publicly this is happening, though in Truman Show land, where they have this on some kind of Truman Show thing, and it's like they've surrounded me, and I think, like, Alessandra Ambrosia and all these women are clearly watching. This is why my public accounts and things are being violated to such a degree. There's no way that this can stand. Her daughter and her kid don't have more rights than me. Neither does this fake Stephanie Justin account. You can't be fucking raping me with these people's dumbass image for whatever reason. You're rapists. This needs to end. Same thing with Olivia Munn. You need to either bring your butthole or stop playing part in this and in this, like, in this for women. You could these women could use their sexual authority to end this for women. Actually. Instead of empower a gang of abusive women who don't want to drop, like, this ego thing. I have to lift them off of me. The issue is, they've abused. You're abusers. Stop it. help me, shelter under my protection, work with me to fix this. Use your image with good vibes. See, I love you. I love all. This is the thing. People are constantly trying to psychologically poison me and make me hate. I think the reason I'm the word there is I have a lot of love in me, despite like my brain feels like it's being melted from the inside. People are cooking my being from the inside. It feels like I'm constantly having the pressure of a bunch of cars hitting me because that impact moment felt like that was already happening. You can see I cried to the emotional stuff, to the stuff that's attacking me like that. I didn't cry to the getting hit by a car. And it hurt. These people are hurting me. Else, the people keeping these people from affecting the change that needs to be made to fix my pain is hurting me. You can scan me right now and fix this. That's why, Judge Baldwin, you'll be thrown into a burning lake along with Nick Vo, because you're just being used to hold down. It's like a rapist lying down on the victim. I can't push you off without pushing you into the lake, and that's what I'm saying. Having done this, and they're just taking pictures now. I mean, it's like she's trying to make it embarrassing. I have to go do this demeaning competency evaluation. So they're taking pictures of the rape in action and filming it. It's crippling me and hurting me. I just wanted a normal sexuality, but I spoke out about what I saw was wrong, and I did it in a satirical way, which should have ended things, but instead, it didn't. These people just turned into bigger rapists and assholes and abused down harder. This needs to end. The whole world is watching, though in Truman Show land, I can't get... I mean, it's not even on... So Channel 2, Channel 13... Channel 11. So Channel 2, Channel 11, Channel 13, Channel 26, Channel 39, Univision, Telemundo. Univision changed their name or whatever, I think. Houston Cron, Houston Press, Byline, all these people. You are not good people. You aren't good journalists. You are condemned human beings into hell and eternal burning torture if you don't speak up. You'll see certain people be thrown alive into it. Publicly. At this point, I'm fine with going to jail again. They call me a rock star there. Sleep and I guess work out. Get in shape. And I have a story that never goes away because this is clearly recorded, archived, all around the world. And this is history. And it's whose story? Who's the he? Yo. Yeah. That's it. That's all. This needs to end. I've contacted the NSA and US Cybercom. That's like, the military needs to take control of this. Donald Trump can't be saying covert actions against me. Like, actually. He can't be doing that. Not for Russia, the Prince of Roshan, Tubolsky, Meshek. And neither can any other, like, entrenched person in America, like someone who thinks they're sovereign, or someone saying they're Jehovah or something. I mean, if you're actually Jehovah, you would open up the door for me. You get it? So, Jay-Z, instead of harassing me, I mean, fix things. Don't let people abuse me and my family. That's what they've been doing for years. Is that more trying to steal my IP? I mean, then it's done. It's obviously mine. So, I mean, that's it. And if I had to plug in via the Zeitgeist, like I had to plug into the Zeitgeist via J Electronica. Yo! Alright. So that's it. That's law. Any lawyers, reach out to me. Speak out if you want your rights to be protected. They've made America into a dungeon, and we're going to a place where this shouldn't be possible. This needs to end. It's crippling and torturesome. It is actual torture. They're trying to get me to say I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. This is clearly going on that I'm being harassed in the least. That these women are following along with my movements in a way which is harassing to me, and it's not being engaged in a way which is proper or legal. There you go. That's it. False imprisonment isn't legal. Do you get that? I mean, they've already done it. I'm saying you can shelter under my protection. The further you push this, the more obvious the sudden burning lake execution where people would fly in, like tier whatever operators would. No, you get stand down orders. We're picking them up. We're taking them to that burning lake over in that place, and we're throwing them alive into it. I want my grandma to live. I don't want her to die. To Ron, I want Honey to live. If you want that too, speak up. I want my mom and dad to live even though they're acting like this. I want all my family to live even though I'm being harassed and abused and hurt in such terrible ways. And they won't speak out right. So please speak out for me, and you can live too. Because I don't see any other way forward. There's nobody saying this, and this is not what anybody else could offer. You would have to be that person, and you can see from the hail stuff. Last part of this. This isn't normal. None of the storm activity has been normal, but look, there's flooding in New Orleans. There's incredible. Whoa. Okay. Whoa. Last night, I have video of the... Last night, I have video of what happened here. The thunder was so loud, it shook the house. That is what God does, and that's clearly in the Bible is what God does. To a bunch of atheists that don't believe it, when you create a magistrate to disprove God, eventually things get wonky, and you turn into a magistrate that is considered God, and then you make a mecha slam to mecha slam me. I steal that mecha slam back, and mecha slams back. I mean, that's what it appears. Here's flooding, cars stalled, businesses flooding. This isn't normal. This isn't normal storm activity. I am saying this is directly connected, and you see all the hail. The hail is not normal. This is not normal-sized hail. These aren't normal storm systems. This is consistently happening in Texas and across the state and across the country. This is consistently happening now. Hail, damaging hail. So on top of the crypto damage being dealt, all sorts of damage, and we're just waiting on a 7,000 person dead earthquake here as Christians. That's it. And then I'm obviously the one who can have you thrown into a burning lake. And maybe that earthquake comes, you send me to jail over this, you do something, you take it far overboard, and then a higher court says, that's it, we have enough data, it's recorded. 1 hour later, you're taken off your position of authority, all the people connected to it are choppered over to burning lakes, thrown in alive after the mass destruction, or... Hold on, the battery just ended, so I'm gonna end this. Yo, I mean, you can, as I was saying, this isn't normal. This hail is not normal. It's across the whole country, and you can see that isn't normal. Watching this now, as watching my stream, the public can see what's going on, and they know that they're being lied to, and they know that people like Judge Baldwin are being paid to abuse me to hold down the truth from them. This is why it ends with the... This is the deep state dealing with people who've attacked me. Except the deep state isn't deeper than the word of God. Do you get it? Like, no, I'm more rooted than the deep state, so they're gonna have to do what I'm saying. Like, actually. Yeah. 100-pound hail is what we're waiting on. By waiting on, that's when the Ark of the Covenant opens up. By the way, I know someone, Joel Macaluso, who also committed perjury against me to have me sent to the crazy house, which has affected my rights. And I think the UT health system is playing part. Along with A&M? What the fuck? Am I just embarrassing to everybody, or are you now realizing I've been saying the truth and nobody's had it right for a long time and you've just been abusing me? I mean, this isn't normal weather in Texas. Now this is happening. First of all, when I started saying it last year and it started happening in Saudi Arabia, that really should have been an indicator. Because it's hailing in Saudi Arabia, by the way, almost all the time. It appears. You want me to see the videos? These are all the videos that we get. I don't think that's all the videos that there are. Additionally, it's hailing now in America. In Texas, it's extreme weather like tonight and today right now in Louisiana, which we got a little bit here to show what was going there, and I've been saying that. But last night when I was typing the thing where the whole police force in other cities has been let go, the whole police force, all of HPD can be let go here. Else you work for me. And I'm gonna say someone gets thrown into a burning lake, they're gonna get thrown into a burning lake. I don't give a fuck who you are. I'm not a respecter of persons. If you want God to be a respecter of persons, you want your God to be a punk ass bitch. I'm gonna be truthful. I'm kind though, and loving. This isn't normal. This is what you're doing to people. It's gonna be provable within a few years, but now when it's provable within a form of science that they aren't believing in, they're trying to pretend like that's not science. They're able to say that this isn't happening. Somehow, even though you could see it happening and it's in accordance with what I'm saying, not anything they're saying. This is happening because you're abusing me. All these events going on around here are happening because you're abusing me. You need to end this. That's it. All right, if you care about anything, if you care about your rights here in America, if you care about the law, I'm asking lawyers. Lawyers, any lawyer who wants to stand up for me and is able to. I mean, Emilio Longoria, you should be able to do this unless you're one of these people who've been paid off to attack me. I mean, he's supposed to be my friend, right? I'm being hurt. This isn't a real case. The police are acting corrupt and abusive beyond all recognition. This isn't some hazing ritual. I'm not a police officer. Though I will have the power of IA, and more so, the power to throw people in a burning lake. Even police officers. IA plus, yeah, you're a cop, I have you thrown into a burning lake. You raped that woman. You obviously get thrown in a burning lake. To people in Mecha Slam Land cutting people's heads off, you have no fucking clue what being thrown in a burning lake is like. You're punk bitches. I would say Allah is gonna deal with you. God, Elohim, Yo, Jehovah, Jah, Yah, is gonna deal with you very powerfully. IA. So those are some corrupt in other lands actually. Like, remember, Mohammed bin Salman came here with his personal bodyguards who have policing authority in Mecca Slam Land, Saudi Arabia. However, in Turkey, they're criminals. They're murderers. Right? Because of Jamal Khashoggi. So just saying in Mecca Slam Land, and they empower it with a lot of money. Remember, more money than Apple, Exxon, someone else combined, more profits, $111 billion. That's a lot of money to depress the crypto markets and hurt people. But that does deal out billions of dollars in damages and slows the economy and slows everybody's reality and kills people and leads to death on people. All right, that's it. Everybody needs to engage this in a real way. I need sovereignty, and the people connected to me, the women, all my girlfriends and wives, come here. The women who are connected to me need to be protected, because I think police are using this to abuse the women connected to me. And the men connected to me need to be protected so that the police don't abuse the women they're connected to and abuse them through the women, nor abuse the men. The police are a legal authority. However, they're not being used legally at the moment. This needs to end. I know my rights as an American, and all Americans' rights are being affected. You don't have me in a box. Everybody's watching this, despite your Truman Show keeping this in like the shadows. This is being watched all around the world. In this, you're dealing irreparable damage to U.S. missions all around the world. I mean, just seriously, why have a fucking military and spend a bunch of money on AFRICOM when this is the reason why Africans don't want to fucking link up with America? Because this garbage-ass behavior. By the way, Nick Vo, when I said you aren't from here, I meant you're from Tennessee. I'm not being racist. You're just some asshole from Tennessee. I don't respect the Titans. God isn't a Titan, by the way. Is God a Texan or a cowboy? Well, I can tell you this. Yo, I am. In this, Nick Vo's committed perjury. Judge Baldwin is playing along with it and has committed false imprisonment and is abusing me and torturing me. This needs to end. After I got hit by a car, that should be really obvious. That's it. That's all. Have a blessed day. I know my rights, and I know my constitutional rights, and you aren't going to take mine or other Americans' rights away and make America into an abuse dungeon. You're definitely not going to do it for fake Mecca slams. That's Islam. If you're Muslim, last part of this, if you're Muslim, you can be a Christian. Wait on the mass destruction event here. And you want this wall torn down anyway? I mean, seriously, what are you guys doing? All right. I want a better, I mean, there's a better looking temple to a female god behind it, and I'm just like, well, why not fix it all to... There's a book. Follow the book, and let's get to the place where Ezekiel and whatever, and then nobody can bullshit, and we can go to that kingdom of heaven where there's more than enough resources, because this isn't a zero-sum game. It's positive sum. All right, I love you. God loves you. Even to the people harassing me that I'm saying you're going to be thrown into a burning lake. I love you and God loves you, but this is just punishment and discipline to keep people from abusing me and other people like this in 2019, because you're keeping it in like the dark ages when you can literally look across the planet and see what's happening. And they can see this in Africa. It doesn't look good when the justice system here is able to be called by Africans as unjust. Judge Baldwin, you need to end this. This is not a good look. This is the worst look in history. To the courts above Judge Baldwin, you need to end this. This isn't a good look. This is the worst look in history. I'm just kind enough to offer Judge Baldwin protection. Okay. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed night. Have a blessed one. God loves you. I love you.